Hello everyone, I am Bhavya Bhatt. I am a law graduate and a freelance writer. Today I'll be talking about my law school journey, my experience that led me towards establishing my project in my law school premises. I would also be talking about the challenges that I faced while I was working on my project and also my future plans along with it. To give a little summary about me in law school, it all started in the year 2010 when I was in 8th standard and I decided I wanted to become a lawyer. I remember going to my parents and telling them I want to become a lawyer when I grow up, and they said okay. I think at the back of their heads they were like, today she's telling this and tomorrow she might just change. But I'm just glad that this thing has actually stuck with me. So it was in 2015 that I joined law school immediately after my 12th standard. I joined Lloyd Law College, and the transition actually was really difficult because I had to shift to a new city. I had to make new friends, and for an introvert that I'd become, it was very difficult for me to even talk to people. But I guess it's all of these experiences that make you grow into this person you are today, and I am just glad for all of these experiences. So when I was in my first year, I wanted to become a corporate lawyer. I don't know why, but it was just something that I wanted to become. And in my second year, I wanted to become a criminal lawyer because I was interning in the district courts in the High Court of Delhi, and I just knew that okay, this is very exciting. Now I'll become a criminal lawyer. In the third year, I wanted to become an international law expert because of this subject called international law that I was studying, and I found it very interesting. And because of this interest, I even actually attended the summer school by ISIL in international law because I was that serious about international law. But it's these law school experiences, that really change your perceptions every year. I think for me, it changed every semester. So in the fourth year, I started reading a little about cyber law here and there, and then I was like, okay, I think let's become cyber lawyer. So now this thing has stuck with me, and I'm actually looking for opportunities with regard to cyber law. It was in the fourth year as well when I started writing. So I used to write, but then my English professor told me that if you're good at something, you're never supposed to do it for free. I don't know how to start, but then LinkedIn helped me a lot, and I got a lot of my clientele from there. And soon I started freelance writing, and it's been 2 years, and I'm pretty glad with the way things have turned out for me on my writing front. So the project that I have, it's called the Lloyd Mental Health Society that I established in my law school. It all started last year in May 2019, actually, when I was diagnosed with clinical depression for whatsoever reasons. And I think my law school played a very, very minor part in it, but it did play a role in it. The thing is that law school is a place where there is a lot of pressure. And no one tells you you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, but because everyone's doing it, you want to do it too. And well, I was no different to it. I wanted to mood, I wanted to do research papers, I wanted to go to these seminars, and I wanted to debate MUNs, etc. But it wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was just something that I thought I need to do. I have to do because my peers are doing it. So it was all of these pressures that further pushed me into depression. And I remember this one time where I had applied for around 26 places for an internship, but I did not get a call back from even one place. And I was just sad about the fact that why am I not getting in, and how my friends getting internships lined up for months, and over here I'm not even getting one reply for even 1 month. So all of these things further really, I guess, triggered whatever I was feeling, and there was no going back. So in law school, the faculties and everyone really think that things in law school are black and white. Either it's that you are a studious student, or either you're not. And when you are not studious, they often have these misconceptions about you where they're like, oh, you don't attend classes because you must be sleeping the entire day. But there's a reason why a person sleeps the entire day. That was me. And there were times when I found it really, really difficult to concentrate in my class, and the teachers just assume that I am not interested and I don't want to study. But that wasn't the thing. It was just that I was just having a difficult time myself, and I just didn't know who to talk about, etc. So everything started off in May 2019 after my diagnosis, and the few months were little transitional for me because I had to change myself. I had to change the way I was because There were a lot of things that triggered me, and I just knew that okay, the change has to come from within, and well, it did. A little bit aid was also given by a few medications prescribed by my psychiatrist. But on and all, it was a, I wouldn't say it was a good phase for me, but it just taught me a lot. My family was supportive. I had a few supportive friends, but that was it. In a society, we're conditioned in a certain way where we're told that you're not supposed to feel this way, you're not supposed to talk about anxiety, you're not supposed to talk about depression, because no, 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 that's not something, that's all in your head. And also, पागलों के डॉक्टर के पास कौन जाता है? Who goes to a mental doctor to seek mental health aid? Why do you need it? Stop overthinking. So all of these things that were told by people actually pushed me further, I think, and I went into denial thinking I am just overthinking, it's just nothing. But the truth was that it was really, really something major. So the society that actually was around me was really, really unsupportive of it, and I was mocked, I was ridiculed. I received a lot of DMs saying that I was advocating mental health, and I was doing it because I want attention, and I shouldn't talk about why I was feeling anxious, about what anxiety is, because I'm doing everything for attention. In the positive comments, it's actually the negative ones that affect you, and I was no different to it. I did feel like, okay, what am I doing wrong? So it was in my ninth semester, the first day that I entered the class with an anxiety pill in my hand, and it was just a scary situation because I was scared what people would think. I just didn't have the power to listen to people, because I knew that everyone knew that I was suffering from depression because of my posts etc. on Instagram, Facebook, and my blog posts. So it was just a scary situation. I mean, so had people been a little more supportive, had people been a little more less judgmental, I think I wouldn't have that anxiety pill in my hand, but I did. The whole phase in law school was a little difficult for me because people weren't supportive. Of course, when people judge you for every moment of yours, for everything that you do, there is this fear that instills, and I had that. And everything started when I talked to my English professor, Miss Tasneem Khan ma'am. She has been so supportive of me since my first day of law school, and she actually told me that I know what I have to do, I just have to do it. I didn't know what she was talking about, but I knew that I had to do something. Just because I was going through this doesn't mean that others have to compulsorily go through all of this, doesn't mean that everyone else also has to be lonely. So I remember taking a lot of courage. I actually took like a lot of time to tell myself that I think it's time that you talk about it to the college director. And I went to my director, Dr. Salim. I told him, okay, I think we need a mental health society in our college. I didn't know what his reaction would be, but to my surprise, he was quite happy when I told him that we need a mental health society, because he told me that he has been thinking about it, but he just didn't know how to go about it. So when I talked to him, I told him my idea, my purpose, my objective. He was pretty excited about it, and he resonated, and everything started off unofficially in 2019 November. We started talking about it, and I actually sent a lot of pitch. I sent my proposal to establishing the mental health society in the law school premises. The objective of my law school, of basically this mental health society in my law school, was to make a safe space for every one of those who feel a certain way. So when I was going through all of it, there was no one to tell me that it's okay to feel so, it's okay if you're feeling this way. Rather, on the contrary, I was only ridiculed and mocked. But law school as a setting is so stressful that you need certain supportive people. For me, I had my English professor, but not everyone has that kind of a support in law school, and I just knew that this is one big breakthrough moment, and I think my law school really, really needs this, and I think all institutions need it. But it's just that not all institutions have the capacity to actually end up initiating something like this, also because most of them do not have an idea in the first place. So in the year 2020, it was in the month of January that everything kickstarted officially, and I started holding sessions. So the very first session I held was for the first years of the BA LLB, and they were just right out of school, and there was just happy bunch of people who sat while I spoke. There were around 150 people, and it was a scary moment for me, but it was an overwhelming feeling for me. Well, where after my session, there were 3 to 4 students who walked up to me, and one of the students started crying, and she said that she's been feeling a certain way, and her family hasn't been supportive. So even though I was really proud of what I did, I just knew that today it's just step one. Tomorrow I have infinite steps to take, so that everyone feels like they have to talk about it, and it's okay to be talking about it to anyone for this matter. So then I started taking more sessions. I took sessions for the second year, third year, fourth year, even my batch. And then I soon took the same for the LLB students, and more or less I knew that okay, over here I've covered everything, and I've tried my level best to make sure that Lloyd Law College becomes a place where everyone's talking about mental issues very normally, and the stigma around mental health is normalized. But the thing is that the world is not my law school. It's just not that. The world is a more bigger place where a small change in my law school can't do wonders. But then, of course, this is why I thought that my mental health society could now hold all of these mental health awareness camps outside of law school, to educate people, to educate even parents about it. And so I decided, along with the director, that we need to have mental health advocates in our law school, where every student who's a mental health advocate actually takes to advocating mental health on a larger level, not just law school, but then they go talk about it in their societies, with their parents, with their relatives, or with their friends outside of law school. And this was something that we had planned. I even planned for a room inside the law school where people can go and unwind, and they can release all their stresses, so that they can go back to their classes and just start off everything normally. And I also had this idea of having counselors in our law school, so it becomes a little easier for those who cannot afford. I was lucky enough to have that financial support, but not everyone has that. And a lot of people don't really seek mental health aid because they do not have the money, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't seek it. I had a lot of plans on the pipeline, but of course the pandemic had to happen, and everything shut, and the college shut, and now I'm a graduate and I am not a part of college anymore. But there are a lot of things that I learned while I worked on my project of the Lloyd Mental Health Society. I learned that someone has to take a step ahead. I took it today, tomorrow it has to be someone else, because I can't do it alone. Of course, uh, they say that it's the droplets that make the entire ocean, but then one drop cannot do anything, it will just evaporate and nothing else. So I was just actually hopeful about the fact that I have more people joining me, where we can do similar things with other institutions as well, because the thing is that not a lot of institutions in our country, including a lot of schools, they don't have an entire cell dedicated to mental health. So the thing is that students and the faculties and the staff of the institution make the institution what it is, and it is not the other way around. So I think as an institution, the institution owes it to everyone who is a part of it, and they have to take care necessarily about the mental health of those individuals, of those people who have been constantly working at making the institution what it is. So with this, I would just like to say that this was the project that I was aiming at, and I just knew that I had to do it, and I did, and I'm pretty proud of how it has panned out to be. The major challenges that I faced while I was working on it was the people. The thing is that people have these notions that you're not supposed to do this. There was a lot of negativity that I encountered, but I just had to ignore, and I'm just glad that I did. Another challenge is actually of the pandemic, which I am not aware of when it's going to end, but I'm just positive about the fact that probably in a few upcoming months, when I start off again with my mental health society, I can actually go back to my law school and start off everything all over again, because I really can't do much sitting at home while my college is in another city now. So with this, I just like to conclude that today I did something, and tomorrow I would really, really be glad if there were more people joining me in this initiative, because we need to normalize mental health stigmas. We need to end these stigmas once and for all. We need to normalize these talks around mental health, and I cannot do it on my capacity only. I need more people, and I just hope that today it's Lloyd Law College and tomorrow there are more other law schools and other institutions as well which have a similar approach towards catering to the mental health issues of everyone and not just students. So yes, that's about it, and I'm really glad for Legal Lathi to actually have me talk about it, because I just had to do it, and I'm just glad that I got the chance to talk about my project, about something that I truly believe in, and I'm just hopeful that something of this really inspires the other people to take steps in normalizing mental health on their capacity as well. So thank you for having me.